What's next? Conor McGregor, UFC, after the Mayweather event. It's not really even a boxing match. It was an event. It was entertainment value. And we'll get into that now with Dizz of @TalkMMA. You can follow him @TalkMMA on Twitter. My man, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Josh? Looks like we are the dynamic duo today, are we not?
Yeah, it's good to have you back on the show. I know it's been a few weeks. I know you've been busy. I've been busy. We've both been running around like chickens with our heads cut off, but we're finally reunited on the radio.
Yes, absolutely. And when we get together, sparks fly, and all kinds of goodies just happen to come out of the woodwork. So where's no DeSean today? Where's he at today? Is he taking vacation? Is he taking a PTO?
I believe DeSean is with his son at a football game. His son's football game today. So,
well, gotta love that paid time off.
So let's get into this. Let's first put a bow on the event that was called a boxing match last Saturday, because realistically, this was really an exhibition fight. It wasn't a legitimate boxing match per se. I feel like, my opinion, it was a win-win for everybody involved. Mayweather gets his final, big fat payday. McGregor gets a new set of fans. The UFC gets some more interest driven to them. McGregor looked probably better than a lot of people expected, but I know for guys like you and me, we expected basically what happened, which was McGregor to, push forward a little bit in the first few rounds, and Mayweather to basically outlast him and, break him down near the end.
Okay, well, first of all, let's go ahead and put all the components together here. Who the big winners are, and who the actual loser really is here. So you have a guy who's never boxed before, and I heard your comments beforehand. Boxing is a science. It is a form of combat sports, but there's a science to it because there's only one dimension. There's only one dimension that you have to worry about. So your defense, when it comes to boxing, the striking that comes along with boxing, you have to, offensively, you have to figure out, okay, this guy's defense is pretty basic, it's pretty simple, his head movement. I have to figure out the puzzle on which way his head movement goes, depending on how I feint. There is a science to it. Have I ever boxed before? No, not on a pro level. I've never actually ever been in a ring. But, I've done some training here and there, and I've listened very well to a lot of the boxing experts, and some of them came out of Floyd Mayweather's gym. Now, who wins and who loses here? Obviously, Conor McGregor wins because he's walking away with a $135 million paycheck, and that's not including the endorsements that are going to be, coming along with him soon, TV deals, whatnot. MMA is the big winner. Why? Because we essentially sent an amateur boxer over to Floyd Mayweather, arguably, the best, not arguably, the best defensive boxer that this sport has ever seen, arguably one of the best boxers we've ever seen. Okay? Floyd Mayweather wins because he's walking away with $200+ million.
Right.
Showtime wins. The UFC wins because they get some of that. They get some of that tax that we were talking about on a previous show. Mm-hmm. They get some of that tax off their loan paid off. Who really loses here? The sport of boxing loses here. Now, do I agree with Oscar De La Hoya and that awful rant that he went on? I understand why he's upset. But
he's upset because he didn't get the money, because he didn't think of this idea first, because he didn't pull this off. That's why he's upset.
He's upset because he didn't get that money, but also from a purist. But I don't know if he's pretending to be a boxing purist. I don't know.
He's pretending.
He's never lived.
At the end of the day, Oscar's about the money, just like a lot of guys are. He's a promoter at this point.
But the actual loser is the sport of boxing, because you sent an amateur over there who Floyd Mayweather should have been able to put away in round one, and he couldn't get it done until the 10th. Now, I had Floyd Mayweather winning this between rounds 5 and 7 based on body strikes, but I think honestly he had more trouble with Conor's length. and Conor's angles, which in MMA striking is a lot different than boxing because the angles are so much different because they have to watch out for kicks. They have to watch out for single and double leg takedowns. They have to watch out for clenching. So the angles are a little different, and that's why Floyd had issues with him. It's 111 strikes by Conor at 26% efficiency is higher than most boxers have ever landed on Floyd Mayweather, I believe, in the last decade. Pacquiao.
Yeah, but let's remember that number's a little inflated because of the fact that Floyd basically did nothing for about 3 rounds, and he went over 700 days between the Pacquiao fight and this fight. And listen, as he admitted and as all the analysts said, he looked old. This wasn't the same Floyd Mayweather that beat the snot out of Vitor Ortiz years ago.
No, I don't buy it. I'm 40 years old, and he's 40 years old, and he's in much more incredible shape than I am. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening to all these I'm going to imagine the finger quotes, expert analysts on ESPN and your guys' competitors who are talking about rope-a-dope. And I don't buy that crap for a minute. You mean to tell me the most defensive, the best, most defensive boxer that we have ever watched, that I have ever seen, just let a bigger, stronger, lengthier fighter land 111 strikes on him, and I'm just going to let him take these first 3. No, I don't buy it. If he would have found a hole somewhere, he would have taken that opportunity, and he would have put him out within those 3 rounds that Conor McGregor won.
So hold on. So what you are contending is that McGregor didn't just exceed expectations, but that he showed up with a real boxing match. That's what you're contending. Am I correct?
I'm saying that Floyd Mayweather, if he could have put Conor McGregor away within the first 3 rounds, he would have.
But he doesn't put guys away. He only has
going
2
out on your back. He's an amateur boxer. But
Floyd doesn't have power.
Conor McGregor stands up.
But Floyd's not a power puncher.
Way up. Who isn't?
Floyd's not a power puncher.
That doesn't mean anything. You know what the combination? You know how precise the combinations of boxing are. You know how intricate they are because it's a science. If you want to say that if Floyd could have gone to the body and broken him down, all right, I'll go with that. But there's no scenario where a 1, 2, 3, 4 combo and Floyd is cracking Conor's head now because he just doesn't have the power. Floyd's head movement could have kept him safe. He's got the best head movement in boxing. The guy comes out, he got punched 111 times, and he come out looking as good as he did when he went in. Not a scratch on him. I don't buy the rope-a-dope. I don't buy that he let him gas out. I think he just couldn't figure out the angles that it was coming from that quickly.
All right. Well,
I think if he could have put him away in the first couple rounds, he would have.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on that point. So, looking at McGregor...
I'm blocking you on Twitter now.
What's that?
I'm blocking you on Twitter now. You disagree with me?
I know. I hurt your feelings, right?
You hurt. You did. Oh, my God.
Yeah. We're talking with Dizz of @TalkMMA. You can follow him @TalkMMA. He breaks all kinds of news daily on the MMA front. Yeah. And by the way, you broke news about the Floyd Mayweather-McGregor fight too before the fight. So let's not forget about that too.
Hey, let's give credit to Helen E. Actually, she was the one who got all this started. Helen E. She's a very wonderful. She gets put down a lot by other guys. They don't take her very seriously because she's big, she's tall, she's beautiful. She looks like a girl who lives in Vegas, if you know what I mean.
But she earns her keep.
She is much, much better than people give her credit for, and she was the one who got all of this Mayweather and McGregor thing started. So if Helen E. happens to be listening to this, love you. You did a wonderful job. Take credit, walk tall. By the way, what's this Conor McGregor's not an elite striker thing that I just heard before you had me on?
He is not an elite MMA striker in terms of, like, for example, in the Diaz fight, you could tell that there were times that Diaz just picked him apart from a pure striking standpoint. And McGregor, the reason why he, even though it's still some people, controversial people, why he won the second Diaz fight. He grinded it out. He earned that win because he basically, tried to keep pressing and pushing him. When he cracked Eddie Alvarez, that was because Alvarez got sloppy. If Alvarez would have stayed to his game plan and his technique, it would have been a much more competitive fight. Jose Aldo basically ran into a punch of McGregor.
What makes an elite striker? Precision, accuracy, and timing. So, do you mean to tell me that in 21 victories, 18 of Conor McGregor's knockouts were by chance? 21, that's an 85% knockout ratio, knockout to win ratio. I'd say that's pretty elite to me.
He has elite power for MMA. He doesn't have elite striking. He's not picking guys apart.
Yes, he did. He picked apart Eddie, and Eddie's a friend of mine. He said he picked apart Eddie Alvarez. Said it himself. He said it in an interview, and he didn't change his story when I talked to him on the phone. I had no idea where that left hand came from. I didn't see it coming. That's elite status.
Didn't Eddie also say that he got away from his game plan?
Because of his striking. He got caught up in the striking. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, he was so worried about Conor McGregor's striking, he got out of his own game plan. I didn't see it coming. Yeah, like a lot of people who said that Conor did not see that left hand coming. Jose Aldo didn't see it coming. Dustin Poirier didn't see it coming. Dennis Bermudez didn't see it coming. Eddie Alvarez didn't see it coming. None of them saw it coming. It was so fast. It happened so fast. That's an elite striker, son. 18 knockouts in 21 fights. I got to disagree with you.
So then why didn't he knock out Nate Diaz?
How many people have knocked out Nate Diaz? 2? 1? Josh Thompson, head kick, that's it. How many people have actually knocked out Nate Diaz?
Because Nate Diaz is a very technical striker as a boxer.
He's a very basic striker as a boxer, but he also defensively, he also knows how to roll with punches. And who does he pick that up from?
Andre Ward.
His brother Nick, who is very good at rolling with punches. That's why Nick comes out with his little scratches. You can land 100 punches in 4-ounce gloves on Nick Diaz. He's going to come out looking somewhat clean-ish, and that's because of the way he rolls with punches. It makes a huge difference.
So what's next for McGregor here? What is next for the UFC? Are we going to see him defend his belt? Is he going to go for another super fight in MMA? What are we going to see from McGregor in the UFC next?
Kevin Lee and Ferguson, Tony Ferguson, are going to be fighting for the lightweight interim title, and that's going to be in early October. Late December, I expect a trilogy with Nate Diaz, December 30th at T-Mobile Arena, between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. Honestly, and I think after that, we probably see Nate Diaz roll off into the sunset. I don't see this guy. The only way that this fight don't happen, and I'm going to say it like this because it happens all the time. Khabib Nurmagomedov just did it with Tony Ferguson.
Right.
And I could see Nate Diaz doing this too. Watching fighters negotiate themselves out of a fight.
This is true.
That is the only way that this doesn't happen. You ask for a ridiculous amount of money that you're not worth. I could see Nate Diaz getting $15 million for this fight. It's going to be big. It's going to be the 1-on-1 against each other. And I can see Conor McGregor getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $25 million for this fight. But the thing is, Khabib Nurmagomedov, he did that same thing. He negotiated himself out of the fight. And I think that Tony Ferguson's confidence was so overbearing and was so high that I don't think that he felt confident he could win that fight either. Because as of right now, aside of Conor McGregor, in the lightweight division, there's nobody more confident right now than purely confident, not Kevin Lee confident, purely confident as Tony Ferguson is right now.
Well, he should be confident. Ferguson has been on a roll, and he's basically been fighting guys who they all thought they were going to come in and destroy him. And he's basically saying, no, that's not happening. You all underestimate me.
He intimidated Khabib Nurmagomedov out of a fight.
Yeah. Three times.
I don't care.
They're supposed to fight 3 times.
Yes, and I got to tell you, I don't buy the kidney issues.
I don't buy it either.
I don't buy the kidney issues. On the countdown, on the TV show, you can see this guy stuffing his face full of desserts. That's why he's hashtagging Team. That's why Tony Ferguson is hashtagging Team Tears Misu.
Right.
On Twitter. I mean, who eats dessert during camp? Who does that?
Somebody who's purposely trying to get out of the fight.
I think that's a good take. I like that.
Well, listen, what else could it be? Why would you sabotage your own training camp and your own weight cut and your own next fight, which is going to guarantee you a title shot, unless you're trying to find a way out of it?
I think in Nurmagomedov's head, I think he thinks that he is the number one next in line, and I think that's what he's waiting on. I think he's waiting on, there's a possibility that Nate Diaz, I think he thinks there's a possibility that Nate Diaz is not going to fight. I think that he thinks, hey, Conor McGregor's going to need a fight, so he's not going to take a risky fight against somebody who is an elite striker, finger quotes, unless it's for a title. He wasn't calling out Conor McGregor before Conor McGregor won the lightweight title. Nurmagomedov don't care at this point. If I have to face an elite striker, I'll do it as long as there's a chance. He's ducked Edson Barboza. He has ducked Tony Ferguson, but he's going to fight Conor McGregor? Well, yeah, he's got the title. Now, if Edson Barboza or Tony Ferguson had the title, well, then he'd be looking to fight one of those two as well. But as long as they're an elite striker, if they've got a grappling prowess of any sort, then, yeah, Khabib's game.
Real quick before I let you go, so in the future, do we see more MMA fighters go to boxing? We know that Heather Hardy has done what she's done, going from boxing to MMA. We saw what Holly Holm did on the women's side. On the men's side, we know that guys like Stipe Miocic, he has a Gold Gloves amateur championship in his background. So we do have MMA fighters with some boxing experience. We do have boxers who are looking to go to MMA. What do you think the future of these crossover fights could be?
I think that's the only downfall of Conor McGregor, is that anybody that thinks they can outstrip Conor McGregor in MMA is going to look at this and go, hey, I could go to boxing. Look what Conor did. And he just made $135 million doing it. They don't understand, and this has always been a big problem with fighters. I see this all the time. There's a UFC lawsuit out there from where guys have won, fights and been in title fights before, and it's the help me out here. What's the class action lawsuit for capitalism or I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't spit it out completely, but they're trying to pull an Ali act on the UFC. I don't think it's going to work.
The class action suit by the former fighters?
Yeah, and it's essentially a cash grab. They're
right.
Well, look, they sold for $4.6 billion. Why can't we have some of that? And these guys don't have an understanding exactly how promotions ran. But anyways, getting back on track is a lot of these guys don't understand. MMA fans, the MMA bubble is very small. It's not like the NFL. It's not like NBA. It's not like boxing even. It's a very small bubble. Once these guys get known and have a couple people ask for their autographs, they're saying, oh, this is what it's like. Hey, I've made it. And it's like, no, yeah, that's great, but those are just MMA fans. It's like, those are just MMA fans, guys. This is a small bubble. You're not LeBron, okay? You're not Tom Brady level. This is MMA, guys. Some of these outside athletes might know who you are because they're trying to catch a fight from time to time, but would LeBron James know who Stipe Miocic is if he didn't live in the same town?
Nope.
I mean, that's my point. It's all about promoting yourselves. A lot of these guys don't want to get on the mic and call their shots after they win a big fight. You're not on the level of Conor McGregor. Nobody is right now. Not even Paulie Malignaggi, who's been on, a world tour of complaining ever since last weekend. That's why McGregor most likely won't take the Malignaggi fight, is because he's so many levels above Malignaggi now. It doesn't make sense for him. He's not going to make the money he would make. It's all about staying in the UFC until the next big thing somewhere else comes along.
If it comes along.
Collecting them paychecks. It will come along. It's not an if, it's a matter of when. Something else is going to come along. We always as sports analysts and insiders, always say, well, this might happen. What's going to happen to the UFC if George St. Pierre leaves? Who's going to be, I mean, they're going to be hurting. Well, another star rises up. It's always happened traditionally. Always another star will rise up. As long as Conor McGregor here, he's the man. So all these other guys need to have a better self-awareness
right.
of what level they're on. I like what Max Holloway's doing right now. I think if he beats Frankie Edgar, I think anybody in the featherweight, I think he can dominate the featherweight division for a long, long time. He's starting to get mouthy. Cody Garbrandt, bantamweight division, starting to get mouthy, which is good. That's what he needs. He's very, he's a handsome young man. A lot of women, when I look online, they think he's very hot. So he could be the next big marketable thing outside of Conor McGregor. So, and Cody Garbrandt, if he's listening, keep doing what you're doing, pal.
He is Dizz of @TalkMMA. You can follow him on Twitter @TalkMMA. My man, I got to hit the commercial break. We're running late for it. I always appreciate the time, and I always appreciate the insights, and hopefully it won't be about a month and a half where I have you on again.
Yeah, how dare you?
I'll catch you on the flip side, my friend.
Be good, my brother.